This video will describe the latest version of the AC version of the Accu-Path Band Saw Laser system, which is mounted on a bandsaw to project the slicing path of the bandsaw blade and for the safer operation of the bandsaw. This new AC Accu-Path Band Saw Laser system is a major redesign of our previous AC version of the Accu-Path system. It contains a number of new features, including a compact all-in-one plastic case, a heavy-duty on-off switch built into the plastic case, an improved clamping system to enable the accurate positioning of the laser beam, 210-pound magnets to securely mount this unit onto your bandsaw, and 110-volt AC to 5-volt DC power supply. I designed this latest version of the Accu-Path system using the Fusion 360 software. This software enables the accurate design and redesign of this unit multiple times, each time tweaking the dimensions of the plastic case and adding new features. And this is the final version of the Accu-Path module. The Accu-Path case consists of a cavity on the right side of the plastic case for the containment of all the electrical components and wiring for these components. Later, a cover will be attached with screws to cover this cavity after all the wiring has been completed. The laser module will be mounted on the front of the plastic case. The 5 volts needed to power the laser is provided via a barrel plug connector mounted on the opposite back side of the plastic case. A heavy-duty rocker switch is mounted on the left side of the case. Then a 1/4" diameter brass plug with a thumb screw will later be added to align and clamp the laser module into this plastic case. 2 cavities in the base of the case were added for the addition of 2 110-pound permanent magnets, which will be held in place with screws. The method of clamping the laser module into the Accu-Path case would change for this new Accu-Path. The laser module will be inserted into the hole in the front of the Accu-Path plastic case. A brass plug with a concave surface is then inserted into the hole on the left side of the Accu-Path case. A small thumb screw is then used to push the brass pin against the laser module to hold it in place. This brass pin prevents the scoring of the case on the laser module and will enable the accurate repositioning and alignment of the Accu-Path laser beam. And here is the fully assembled AC Accu-Path system. In addition, the AC Accu-Path system has a 110-volt AC to 5-volt 2-amp DC power supply with a 3-foot cord. This is the original version of the AC version of the Accu-Path system, which mounts on the top plate on the bandsaw. And I wanted to redesign the system to make a few changes to make it easier to align and actually make it perform much better. So the first change I wanted to make is eliminate this plug. Right now it has an external plug here which plugs into your power supply to give you your 5 volts needed to operate the laser beam. So I actually want to include this plug into the case so I have one less external connection. The other thing, right now there's no switch on here. The switch has to be an external switch to turn the laser beam off and on. So I actually want to build a switch into the system. The third change, I wanted to change this mounting bracket here. Right now this uses a set screw, and the set screw tends to score this module and create an indentation in the module itself. So if you have to do a minor adjustment, it becomes quite hard because that indentation prevents you from doing a 1/10 of a degree adjustment. So I wanted to change that to a better mounting system. And the fourth change I wanted to make is to make the system more vertical. So instead of being horizontal, it'll be a vertical system. So all those changes will improve the performance of the system. So this is a new version of the Accu-Path system, which will replace the previous version. As I mentioned, I added a number of features. First of all, the plug is already included in the case, has an on-off switch, and a different adjustment system for clamping the laser beam. So these are all major improvements to the Accu-Path system. Again, it has magnets on the bottom, which mount on the side of the case. So this mounts on here just like that. Holds it out pretty firmly because each of those magnets has 110 pounds of holding force, so it has quite a bit of holding power. So that doesn't rock or move. So my power just plugs into the top, and right now the laser beam is off. I turn it on, and there's my laser beam. So having that switch built in here is nice, so you can turn it off and on right from the system. So next I need to align the laser beam. What I like to do is I'd like to line the laser beam so that it goes down the bandsaw blade and then goes out vertically. So let me show you how I do that. There are 3 modes of movement of the Accu-Path to align the laser beam. The magnets do hold the Accu-Path quite securely to the side of the bandsaw, but the Accu-Path can be moved or twisted. It just takes a little bit of extra force. First, it can be moved up or down or left or right. This movement is used to align the laser beam so that it reflects off the teeth of the bandsaw blade. The module can also be twisted. This movement is used to align the laser beam so that it follows the entire length of the teeth on a bandsaw. Finally, the laser module itself can be twisted to align the laser beam so it is perfectly parallel to the path of the boards being sliced. The thumb screw with the brass internal pin will clamp the laser module in position. So I'd like to get this laser beam such that the beam goes right down the teeth of the bandsaw blade and then perpendicular to the path of your wood going through the bandsaw. So I just can slide this over until the blade starts to touch the teeth. In fact, let me turn some lights out here so we can see this a little bit better. So there's a couple of adjustments I need to move. I can tilt this, left and right to move the blade. I can loosen my laser module to twist the laser beam so that it goes, straight this way. So let me get that kind of close right now, first of all. Put some wood down here so I can actually see a little bit better. So now I can align it so it's pretty straight now, but I'll get it closer a little bit more. First thing now is to get the beam going right down the teeth of the bandsaw blade. So I can move that left and right. And now that the laser beam is reflecting off the teeth on the bandsaw blade. So that's the one adjustment. Now I want to make sure it's perfectly perpendicular to the path of my boards going to the bandsaw blade. And right now it's twisted a little bit too much this way, so I need to twist it back this way. So again, it's hard doing this with the camera between me and you. So I just twist the laser beam slightly and then clamp it in place. And it's still twisted a little bit too much. So I just keep tweaking it till it gets it right on. So right now that laser beam is actually being hid in the kerf of the blade here. If I move those boards out and put a board here, you can actually see its path. And if I can move my fence in a little bit here, now you can see the path of that laser beam. So the laser beam is going down the teeth of the blade and then perpendicular to my path of the board being cut. So that's perfectly aligned now. There's nothing more to do. So those magnets hold in place so it's all set to operate. Here's a close-up showing the laser beam reflected down the entire length of the teeth on the bandsaw blade and then being projected parallel to the bandsaw fence and onto the board to be sliced. I use this laser beam for a couple different operations. First of all, if I'm ripping a board like this, I can see exactly where the board's being cut. And again, it's a safety device. If I see red on my fingers shouldn't be there. That's the path of the laser beam. So if I'm pushing the board through and I'm doing this, my fingers shouldn't be there. They should be out to the side, either left or right. So you want to keep your fingers away from that path of the bandsaw blade because quite often you're pushing your board through, the board can jump and all of a sudden you see your hands going like this and you can lose a finger real quickly. So making sure you don't do that, keeping those fingers away from the path of the bandsaw blade. So this again shows me the path of my laser beam. And it's good for adjusting. If I was cutting a board, I wanted a board 1 inch wide, and I put a mark on here 1 inch, then I can go and actually line it down. And because the laser beam is following the exact curve of the bandsaw blade, that's the exact width of the piece I'll be cut. The other thing I use it a lot for is using my Accu-Wedge system. When I'm using my Accu-Wedge system to make segmented wedges for segmented wood turning, I want to make wedges of a specific size. So again, this is nice because I can see the actual size of the board I'll be cut. And that's great for lining up and setting up my wedges for segment wood turning. So I use it a lot for doing segment wood turning. So let me show you the actual use of this system for cutting some wedges. I have my Accu-Wedge system all set up with my ramp and my Accu-Stop. And I set the size of my board. And my laser beam shows me exactly the size I'm getting. And I want a slight, blunt edge on the edge. I don't want a perfect point on this. So that shows me the exact size I'm going to get. So I can adjust my Accu-Stop to get exactly where I want. And now my laser beam shows me exactly where I'll be cutting. So let me go ahead and cut this board and we'll see how it works. And you see that laser beam showed me exactly where I was cutting. In fact, you can just see a slight, fuzzy edge from the laser beam on the edge of the board here, because it cut perfectly where it was set to cut. So that's good for setting up the dimension of the board you want to cut. And these are my segmented wedges, which I just cut off the system. And of course, the other application of the laser beam is to cut straight boards using a fence on the bandsaw. In this case, I'm using my Accu-Slice rail as a fence, but you could also use a fence on the opposite side. Again, the laser beam is showing exactly where you want to cut. So I just want to cut a hair off the side of this board. So I set it up against the fence, and let's go ahead and cut this board. And again, the laser beam is showing me exactly where it's going to cut the length of the board. So again, making sure I keep my fingers out of that path of that bandsaw blade. The new AC Accu-Path Band Saw Laser system with 110 volt AC to 5 volt DC power supply is available on our website. The part number is AC-AP2. For more information, please visit our website at the following location. We also offer a battery-powered version of the Accu-Path system, which uses our original metal L bracket design. This version is preferred when a 110 volt AC power source is not available close to the bandsaw. On the Accu-Path webpage for this product, we have several other videos describing the use and operation of this battery-powered Accu-Path system. Once again, thank you for watching this video. If you have any other questions, concerns, or comments, as always, please give us a call or drop us an email. And thank you for watching.